How you doing?
Oh, good, man. Good.
All right. First topic of the day. Trigger warnings.
Okay.
Hey, look, man. You can't be on your phone doing too much, bro. We gotta finish this project today, bro. Okay? Come on, get it together.
What? Nah, Mo, who is he talking to, Holmes? Who is he talking to, Holmes?
Bro, don't even start that today, bro. I already know. Just I don't even want to hear it, bro.
Nah. He talking crazy to you, bro. He talking crazy. He talking crazy.
Ice, it wasn't even all that. Like, he said a little something, but, you know, it wasn't that serious. On top of that, bro, I'm not trying to lose my job over a little argument, over a little saying something.
Job, bro. It's about your respect, Holmes. It's about your respect. Do he respect you?
Of course, bro, respect me. What are you saying, bro? That don't have nothing to do. He just want the job done.
Okay. Don't say nothing. But do me a favor. Say hi to your father for me. Say hi to your father. That's your father.
Bro, stop saying that. That's not my father, bro.
That's your father. I hope he take your mother on vacation, because that's your father.
Bro, that's not my father, bro. Stop saying
That's
that,
your
bro.
father.
Stop
That's
saying
your
that, bro. Bro,
father.
stop saying
I'm sorry, bro. It's a lot going on at home, but look, I just wanted to get everything done. I apologize for coming at you that way. And yeah, man, I just wanted to apologize.
It's all good.
All right.
I wasn't even tripping. See, look, I told you.
That's your father.
The first time when I hear that, I think about my brother when we was younger. My twin brother, his trigger would always be if you talked about our father, right?
Okay.
Our father went to jail when we was real, like maybe like 3. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it would be the lightest thing, like everybody be joking and joning, and the second they say your father, over with. He fighting the whole school. Everybody got to go.
Okay.
And I just wonder why that affected him so much. Why I let him. You know why I just took him there every single time, because I ain't feel like that.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't like it, but I just didn't feel like I had to rage out either.
Yeah. So let me ask you, like, what do you recall? Like, can you recall, like, ever kind of asking him about it, or like, did you observe anything in him that would show, like, the reason behind the sensitivity of it?
Nothing other than they just don't talk about my father. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That was the repeated line. Don't talk about my father. He was never really explaining on why.
Yeah.
You know, he never went there, but it was don't talk about my father.
Yeah, I like that. I understand that. And matter of fact, I say I like that because, there's almost like a sense of like pride, what I'm saying? Like in the idea of like, it's an honorable thing to stand up for your family.
Yeah.
Now sometimes standing up for somebody, you don't want to make as they say, a mountain out of a molehill, right? So,
and that's what he would do.
Yeah.
That's what he would do.
But think about it from this perspective, like, and we were talking about it before. If somebody could say to you, "Go ahead, forehead," right? And they joning on your forehead.
Yeah.
And one person, it's
Forehead,
not a big
forehead
deal
is
to them.
crazy.
But then you got somebody got a forehead like mine who used to get joned on it.
Yeah.
And if you did it in front of a bus when I was in school, then I'm coming back with something.
Problem.
It's
Yeah,
a whole problem.
Yeah.
Because I'm sensitive about it.
Yeah.
So, like, what are your that's what I was asking, like, do you some of the sensitivities that your brother might have had that would be triggering if somebody talked about his father, like, could it have been that the fact that his father was away and he wasn't able to have the type of relationship as others, or
I definitely think it was the fact that he didn't know how to feel about it. It was never explained to us what to do from that point. It was just like police came, got him, he's gone. Now, I guess every time you bring that up, the first thing his mind goes to is defend. And even when it was playful, like it was just defend. Like, that is not what you go towards. You know what I'm saying? And for most people, that's your mother. You know what I'm saying? But nah, it was your father. And it wouldn't matter. And people learn that about him. Like, you know what I'm saying? If I know where we go here, it's going up. That's the word to say with him.
Who's older between the two of y'all?
He is.
Okay, he's the older brother.
Yeah.
Okay, how many years?
That's my twin.
Oh, okay.
All
right, so it's like one of them.
1 minute.
He older by a
Yeah.
minute. Okay,
Yeah.
all right. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And you consider him older. It's only a minute.
He won't let me not.
I get that. Yeah, I probably would say the same thing. You know, I'm the oldest. You know. Yeah. Although both of y'all was running for the door at the same time.
I was supposed to be the oldest though.
You remember that when you was in there?
Nah.
He kick you
I
out
was
the way.
really supposed to be the oldest though. He had the umbilical cord wrapped around his neck, so they had to pull him out first.
That's the move he pulled on you, huh? He's like, put this thing around real quick. You know, I'm getting out.
Yeah, you inching towards that door, ain't you?
Okay, so let's switch it, because sometimes trigger warnings, but then in our community people talk about fighting words, right? So you got fighting words,
That's
right?
what trigger warning is basically it. Fighting words.
Yeah. So if you think of fighting words, in the past we've talked a little bit about felt minus.
Yeah.
Okay. And do you remember what felt minus is?
Yeah.
And how it will relate to fighting words?
Yeah, because felt minus is like your insecurities, right? Or what caused you to be insecure or something. It's along that line. And anything that caused you to be insecure is fighting words. It's fighting words when they come up in public. Somebody might be able to say the same thing to you that they may say in private, but like you just said, at the bus stop, it may feel crazy, like you can't read, or you dumb, or you this or you that. Like a lot of people don't like that word, you dumb and all that. Yeah, that's yeah.
So in psychology, and I'm gonna talk about Adlerian psychology. And just so everybody knows, I am not a therapist.
Yeah.
I just happen to own a behavioral health company. So I'm around a lot of bright, smart people, psychiatrists, psychologists. My wife's a therapist, and so I'm actually kind of clinically trained by default, and I don't practice. Those are important pieces. But so with Adlerian psychology, basically there's a cat named Alfred Adler, and one of his concepts, and we talk about a lot around here, is felt minus.
Yeah.
And part of the work that's done when they're helping a person break down their life to understand their behaviors and their patterns is they look at something called early recollections.
Yeah.
What's an early recollection? It's looking back to a time when you were real small and you have memories, right? Yeah. And those early memories informed and helped shape us into who we became.
Right.
So the very first time we got into a fight, something really serious, we typically remember these things.
For sure.
And then it informs us on how we're going to proceed.
Yeah.
So with felt minus, and I should also say this about felt minus, that even before we were conscious of how the world is or how it's supposed to be, we were already having experiences of feeling less than and inferior.
Right.
So case in point, you and your brother, you guys are twins. There are times, even as twins, even at a very young age, there was a time when both you and your brother were standing right there, and one of your parents picked up you first, or your brother first, and in that moment you cried, because it hurt your feeling that you weren't the first one. Okay, and that cry, although you a twin, I'm picking one up, then I'm gonna pick up the next one in right turn. The brain doesn't work that way. The moment in which one of y'all got picked up and the other one cried was a situation where it plucked that felt minus.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's how that works. So even when you're really little, we have these feelings of felt minus. What is felt minus? It's experience. It is a feeling, an acknowledgement of our inferiority, our limitations, our weaknesses.
Yeah.
It's a human thing. Okay, so as we move through life, we're going to see people who are taller than us, who are better basketball players, who got the answers in school, who can get the girls. And in those moments, we're going to feel less than.
For sure.
So that's the felt minus. Okay. So I'm going to ask you the question, like, what are some of the earlier memories that you have of feeling less than?
first time I went to my neighbor's house and I realized everybody's house ain't like mine. So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We had roaches and they had furniture and all this other stuff. We was basically living a certain lifestyle that I wasn't aware of. You feel me? Like I didn't see it like that until I went over there and I was like, oh, it's something wrong over here. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm thinking. There's something wrong over here. And then that played into everything. Like, oh, that's why their clothes are better. Or that's, you know, all that little, you know, the little things that just be like, oh, you know, they got better shoes, better clothes, better cars. You know, like they got both parents. You feel what I'm saying? Like all of that stuff made me feel like what's wrong. You know, like what's going on. So so that would be like one of the things I know for sure I noticed early. Yeah. Just looking and just paying attention. Because I ain't talk a lot when I was younger. So it was like I would just stare and try to figure out stuff. Like,
how old were you at the time?
I don't know. I had to be very young because I remember like not even really being able to walk to my neighbor's house by myself. You know, and knocking on the door and seeing their view from just outside of the door.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? So I know I was very, you know, very young. Like, yeah, still I wasn't playing in the street yet. We still in the backyard. You know, like, yeah.
Dang, that's a good memory to come from. Can you recall anything that you learned about what you wanted for yourself
because
in that moment? Yeah, because of that.
Not that moment, but eventually I started to tell myself like, all right, I gotta make some money. Like I gotta cut some grass. I gotta do some, you know, like shovel snow. We gotta do something to make some money. I remember that being a consistent thing. Like, and I remember telling my neighbor one time, like, you gonna get the shoes. I gotta get the shoes. You know what I'm saying? Like you gonna go. They gonna be there. I promise you. You know, I gotta figure it out. And this may be the shoe I get. Like, but you gonna get all the shoes. So I remember that.
Wanna go to jail now? Wanna be a professional crash out? Get the bronze package. That's about 3 to 6 months in prison. You ain't gotta find a place to stay and you ain't gotta worry about food. Or get the silver package. That's Grand Theft Auto, assault. You're looking at about 5 to 10. And that's if you got a good jury. Hey, and trust me, your homeboys will not send you letters. You're really a crash out now. Or get the gold package. That's the full crash out special. Yes, that comes with double murder, scamming, a RICO, and anything you can think of. And I actually love this deal because it comes with a public defender. Your mom will be crying. And your homies will be hitting your baby mother. You're sharing now. You're a full crash out now.
If you want to be a crash dummy today, please call 1-800-CRASH-OUT-NOW. Limited time specials is almost done. Dummies.
Criminogenic behavior is typically rooted in something, right? Nobody just wakes up
and wants to be like
and then just becomes a criminal.
Yeah.
Like there's a grooming that happens to them. It could be through a family member, because we've worked with people who said, you know, when I was 6 years old, my uncle was taking me in the store to have me steal. You know, and he was, I was working with my uncle doing scans when I was 9. Yeah. So when you work with people like that, the idea of crime is so tied to the fabric of their brain has been developed.
And it's not even negative. You know what I'm saying? It's not a negative thought. It's just this is a way to do it.
This is how you operate in the world.
Yeah.
You know, so that's one. But many of us, it's a process that kind of is triggered off in puberty. And what there's evidence that shows is that the spike in testosterone that happens in young men from right through puberty all the way up until about 28, 27, 28, that spike in testosterone it almost directly correlates to an increase in violent and criminal actions in men. And also the third one is creativity. So young men are considered, there's a great spike in their creativity, the development of them, between, puberty and 27, 28. And so all three of those areas.
Spike up, and then they just start doing crazy, whatever they can think of, really.
Yeah.
Especially if they on that wrong side of it.
Yeah.
They become the greatest scam of all time, aka PPP loans.
Shit, get that PPP jail time too.
Some of them did. Some of them didn't.
Yeah, that's. I tell you what, man, is insane. Motherfucking, and that's what we deal with. Motherfucker then did a crime, and got a piece of money, and had that money, spent that money, and then the crime come back on them, and then they gotta rot in prison.
You said they do the crime, get some money.
Yeah, so boom. Okay, somebody asks you, man, help me do this scam real quick.
Right.
We're gonna make you make 20,000, I'm gonna make 20,000. Okay, boom, we do the scam, get your 20,000, you spend your 20,000. It's gone. Then they come. Then they lock you up. And then you gotta reconcile within yourself. I got the 20, I spent it, it's gone. The only thing I got left is the loss of my time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
They didn't do nothing resourceful. They didn't make more money with the money, which was the goal for everybody getting that loan. Just to be clear, but
okay. So if somebody took the 20,000 and then they bought Nvidia stock, right? Yeah. And so you got to sit for 10, but it's sitting in the
by the time you
money
get out,
home,
might have been worth it. Like,
it's like the Joyce with the movie Blue Streak with Martin.
Yeah.
When he stole the diamond, he get home and then, he could go get the
break
diamond
into
and
the building,
cash
get
it.
that, get
Right.
that bread. Last topic. When you too tough for your own good.
Hey, you know what time it is, Mr. Peaceful? Yeah. I remember you from before. I told you we don't have money up here. Man, I ain't here for all that, man. I'm here for I need that therapeutic, whatever it was. I need some. What?
You want to talk again?
Man, shame. You can't be saying that. I've got a reputation.
Okay, I tell you what. Come in about 30 minutes, man, and I see what I can do for you. Okay, good.
All right.
I'll see you then, all right?
I'll see you then.
All right.
What?
Rob Carjackington, you could come to the back.
Rob Carjackington. Come have a seat, man. All right, man. Let it all out, man. Come on, man. Let it all out, man.
I can't do it. It's not even a gun, it's taking.
All right.
I can't keep my life together.
That's all right.
I
Man.
can't keep my life.
That's all right, man. Let it all out, man.
I can't.
You gotta let it all out, man. Yeah, you just gonna tape yourself up right there, huh?
Stop hate me.
Yeah, just let it out.
Me.
Yeah, just let it out. There's a lot of hate in there. Let all that hate out, all right? Yeah, let it out, man.
Too tough for your own good. Looks like when you so tough you can't listen, you can't hear. Yeah, that's the same thing. You can't. But what I mean by that is like you don't let nobody help you. Yeah. You can't let nobody drive you in the right direction, and that you end up being alone by yourself and having to be even tougher than you actually had to be. Yeah. You know.
Can I also say that maybe we might even want to call that part lights, camera, action, because what happens with this with people, right? So human beings, right? Mm-hmm. Human beings, we go through all of the somatic wheel. Mm-hmm. So there are days in which you're happy, there are days in which you're sad, there are days in which you feel vulnerable, there are days in which you feel giddy like a child, there are days in which you feel grumpy. Mm-hmm. And this is being a healthy human being. Yeah. But what happens is that some people get caught in character. Yeah. Right. So, and that kind of, we'll at one point we'll get into that because we talked about the felt minus, right? Yeah. And how certain scenarios might make us feel less than. Yeah.
What you might do for that.
Yeah. And so when you talk about people who've gone through trauma, who've gone through PTSD, when they've gone through being bullied,
Mm-hmm.
then oftentimes what'll happen is they will choose a goal, which we haven't really gotten into. Maybe the next one we'll do, which is called perceived plus.
Yeah.
So felt minus means that I feel inferior. And then from that, and the other part about Adlerian psychologists is they believe that everything is goal-based, meaning that every actualization
That's the
that
same
we
guy
have.
who says that?
Yeah, same guy.
That's the Alfred Adler?
Yeah,
guy?
Alfred Adler.
Adler?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
He was a contemporary like Freud and some of those guys. But the thing is, he said that for every time in which we felt inferior, we would choose a goal based off of that. And oftentimes that goal would be someone who was around us that we thought that if we were that person, we wouldn't go through it. Yeah. It's part of the reason why people who, as children, they are victims, how when they become older, they become the abusers. Yeah. Because their perception is that if I were like my abuser, then no one would victimize me. Yeah. Okay, so with a lot of young people, especially those who've been made or forced to feel vulnerable or insecure, which bullying, and a lot of the things that we went through at a young age.
A lot of times I see it is when I see like the poor kid with no clothes and stuff like that, and then his form is to, I'm gonna play tough. Yeah. So you can't even say nothing about my clothes, because if you do, I'll stop you. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's a perfect example, because it's like, with that, they're able to gain a certain amount of power. Yeah. Like it's, I call it the Trayvon Martin effect. Yeah. Like you remember when he passed away, the young man in Florida, right? I think he was 17. And they showed pictures of him when he was like 12, 13, 14. He just looked like an average kid, right? And then the picture that they used to justify his passing, he had a hood on. Yeah. And they said that he was walking with a little bit more thoroughness to him. Yeah. And that's the reason why the guy, felt threatened and was following him, because it's like, okay, you putting on this mask. And honestly, this happens to almost most of all black males who grow up in an urban center, where once you kind of go through puberty, you start to look for ways to not look vulnerable. Yeah. So who's the first people that you start wanting to look like? Is the high school kids who look more thorough. Yeah. And who the high school kids who want to look more like?
Like the thugs, the drug dealers, the gangsters. Yeah. It's funny because I think about that. That's 100% right. But at one point, and in certain cities, the high school kids looked at players and different things. But in this phase right now, everybody's looking at who's the toughest, who can shoot, who can, you know what I'm saying, who can do this and that. There is no more like them type of dudes, like players. Even pimps was like at one point like I just be the pimp. You know what I'm saying? Like I be on my fly. But now most people go towards the majority is going towards, I'm gonna be the toughest dude. I'm gonna put that persona on, and it'd be funny when you see little kids who haven't even hit puberty yet trying to do it already. You know what I'm saying? They like, they talking like them, they walking like them, but it's like, you ain't got nothing to be like that for. You feel what I'm saying? Exactly. Like, so I know this is a facade. I know you were taught this. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and it's weird when you see, especially when you see people who are from communities, environments, and homes where you be like, man, Slim, you wasn't raised that way, man.
Yeah.
Like, why are you doing this? Like, this is really weird. Yeah. Making everybody feel uncomfortable with this new CB4
just
thing
going
happening.
so hard with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, what I usually do when dudes do that, I just talk to them like I don't disrespect them or nothing, but I talk to them like how I know they talk. You know what I'm saying? And eventually it got to break out, because this is the act. You know what I'm saying? And like, I know what you're doing. You feel what I'm saying? But there is no sense of danger here. I don't know why you pretending right now. Because when you go back to your parents, I make skits about this. When you walk in that house, that threshold, like as soon as you walk out the house, you become this dude. But as soon as you walk back in the house and your parents say something, it's a whole nother dude. Like, so.
And most people, and to be honest and to be fair, all of it, almost to the letter, is tied to trauma, PTSD, or vicarious trauma. Vicarious trauma is witnessing you know, or seeing somebody else who's gone through it. So, and all of us have experienced it. You grew up in this area. You, at a young age, you watched somebody get stomped.
Yeah.
You got somebody's teeth get knocked out.
Get what's the game? Go steal him. Like I seen that and I was like, man, if that's ever me.
Yeah.
And it's been me. It happened. Like I didn't see it coming though.
Yeah. You've been through that. If you ever been walking and somebody just stole you without you seeing it come. Yeah. You know, all of this is PTSD and trauma. And so a lot of these things are defense mechanisms. So people look at the guy who came from this type of environment with the mom and the dad, and he's like, man, why you acting like that? All of it's because of, you know, things that he's seen that have frightened him.
Yeah. No, that's a fact. That's a fact. I feel like it's weird because the guys who really are like that, it's because of a trauma, right? Yeah. And then the guys you talking about right there are following his actions. Yeah. But he's traumatized. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so you don't gotta, you know, when you act like that, it's like your reactions won't be real. Yeah. You know, if it really come to you like that, it won't be real. It'll show, and it show like that all the time. That's why a lot of people get into these crazy situations and then be in the little interrogation room singing like Stevie Wonder. You know what I'm saying? Because you wasn't even made for that, but you done went so far in their storyline that you are at a place where it's just like, you went too far, you know. And now you trying to retract, and now you talking with the utmost properness and all of this stuff in the interrogation room. It's like, people ain't even know your name was Clarence, and now you know.
And this is the thing with that whole lights, camera, action, because a lot of these cats, like you saying, it's an act. Yeah, it's an act. This is an interesting piece, and I'll be really sensitive how I say it. But a lot of the clients that we work with who have, significant criminal backgrounds, especially violent natures, you know, where most of those early traumas happen that created that violent person
in their house.
Yeah. Like, this is where, you know, a lot of times they had parents or a family member who were quick for corporal punishment. They were spankers.
Yeah. It's either that, or they may have touched them, or, you know, all them type of things where they had to shell up.
Exactly.
Hard. Yeah.
And what happens with that is those individuals are, become conditioned to react or to receive and respond to threats that are actually coming. Not just the threat of it, the possibility of it, but they lived in an environment where that would happen. Like, you drop you knock over some milk, just a child being a child, mistake, and you get smacked for
flying at you.
And so that teaches. So with some of our population that we work with that's like that, we're helping them to stop before reacting. And that's where I was really going to go. So, you have some individuals who are built where, if you say that word, like we were talking about, the triggering, the triggering words, trigger warnings, or, they're going to react and respond and then have to process what I did afterwards. Yeah. So we work with those. And then some of the other ones, it's more kind of the facade. Like, I'm doing this because it's the Trayvon Martin effect, and I want people to stop bullying me. So if I look
and
like,
then you got to stay in it. You got to play it all the way out, and that's the scary part. When you got to play it all the way out, especially if it ain't you and you ain't built like that. You know. Yeah. So the stigma is that a lot of people black people don't think they need therapy, right? Yeah. I don't agree with that, but I do got a lot of friends who be on that type of time, right? Yeah. So I got a question for all my friends who be on that type of time. If you were to go to therapy, if you were to try it, what questions would you ask your therapist, or what would you say to your therapist? And send it to the page, right? It could be anonymous. We don't got to have your name. We don't have to, you know what I'm saying? We ain't going to put you out there like that. We just want to know, and we going to answer it. And then we'll, you can watch the next episode and you'll see what the answer would be. Then maybe you might get a therapist. You know what I'm saying? All right, cool.
All right. My man.